The United Nations was created on the back of the devastation that was left by World War II. In 1945, 50 countries came together in San Francisco to conclude the Charter of the United Nations. The UN has four main purposes: to keep peace throughout the world, to develop friendly relations among nations, to help nations work together to improve the lives of poor people, to be a center for harmonizing the actions of nations to achieve these goals. In 2014, the UN has 193 member states and about 120,000 peacekeepers in 16 operations over 4 continents. Mobilizes about $12.5 billion in humanitarian aid following emergencies, assists over 34 million refugees in their struggle to flee conflict, hardship and persecution, vaccinates about 58% of children globally. The UN operates through 6 bodies. The International Court of Justice is the judicial body to settle international legal disputes for the UN. It commenced its work in 1946 and is the only UN body that sits outside of New York. The court can hear cases brought by disputing parties or provide advisory opinions at the request of other UN bodies. There are 15 judges who are elected for 9-year terms. The Secretariat is the permanent staff of the UN who carry out the day-to-day work. At its head is the GA-elected Secretary General, currently Ban Ki-moon. There are about 43,000 staff and 8 major offices. They deliver the services that are vital to the operations of the UN, such as peacekeeping, humanitarian affairs, treaty and legal codification. The Economic and Social Council, also known as ECOSOC, consists of 54 members who are elected for 3-year terms by the GA. This council has a broad mandate covering all economic, social and environmental concerns. It is responsible for organizations that spend approximately 70% of the UN's budget. ECOSOC is very accommodating of the work of NGOs as observers with over 3,200 officially registered. The Security Council, also known as SC, is often seen as the enforcement mechanism of the UN. It is primarily responsible for the maintenance of peace and security, and its resolutions bind all other members of the UN. It is allowed to authorize the use of force if necessary. There are 5 permanent members: France, United States of America, Great Britain, Russia, and China, and another 10 non-permanent members who are elected for 2-year terms by the GA. The Trusteeship Council has been suspended since 1994. However, its role was to look after states that have been placed under the administration or trusteeship of the UN. This council was particularly important in the early years of the UN, but since Palau achieved independence in 1994, has no longer been required. The members of this council are France, Great Britain, the United States of America, Russia, and China. And finally, the General Assembly, also known as GA. This body includes all of the member states of the UN and is often seen as the most important because of its power to elect and appoint members to all other bodies. Its mandate also encompasses everything that any other UN body is responsible for. The work of the GA is predominantly done through 6 committees. The first committee, DISEC, deals with issues regarding disarmament and to peace and security. It places strong emphasis on disarmament as a means of creating global peace and stability. The second committee, ECOFIN, deals with economic and financial issues regarding trade, financial systems, debt sustainability, economic growth, development, and poverty eradication, among many other things. The third committee, SOCHIM, on social, cultural, and humanitarian affairs, deals with a broad array of matters including the advancement of women, children, indigenous affairs, refugees, human rights and freedoms, self-determination, and anti-discrimination. The fourth committee, SPECPOL, deals with decolonization and other special political issues, including those regarding Israel-Palestine and issues that concern decolonized states such as peacekeeping, mine clearing, and refugees. It also deals with other things that do not fit neatly into anything else, like regulation of space and atomic radiation. The fifth committee deals with administrative and budgetary matters of the UN. It is often responsible for ensuring that the UN has enough money to conduct all of the programs and missions that it does. The sixth committee is responsible for legal affairs and is tasked with the development and revision of public international law in conjunction with the International Law Commission. In 2014, it was working on creating a universal legal definition for terrorism. In other words, the UN does some pretty serious things with a pretty big effect globally. Here is an overview of the whole UN structure. All of the information used in this video has been adapted from the United Nations website.